totally understand what you're asking me to do. You're asking me to climb the Mount Everest with a backpack which weighs more than 150 kilos. Hey, come on. How do you ask me to do this in between all the trapezium that I play every day, taking my kids to school, dropping them off, then going to my work, collecting them, my household chores, and you ask me to read for 30 minutes a day? Now, these are all responses I received when I told my friends in their 30s and 40s to spend half an hour reading every day. Now, let me make myself clear first of all. Not to read is not a sin, and I am no preacher to preach reading today. Still, if you are still kind of, hey, why do people spend time reading when there are better things to do? Please watch. This is why I read. When growing up, I always thought I was correct until I started reading voraciously. That is when I was introduced to multiple perspectives. The same thing which I used to believe was being interpreted in different ways by different writers. And then I started to think differently. Maybe I'm wrong. And after a few years, I understood I was completely wrong. Reading helps to correct ourselves. It opens multiple perspectives. It opens different viewpoints. And sometimes it helps us to edify ourselves. That's why I read. I don't mind being corrected by books. To some extent, I do mind being corrected by humans directly. But if you try to correct me indirectly by books, yeah, I may definitely be corrected. It also helps you to learn something new. I was always afraid of cooking, and my cooking phobia has been alleviated by reading a few good cookbooks, which moves into not only good recipes but also helps you to psychologically get tuned into cooking. I'm not an expert cook and I don't intend to be, but still, just as an example as to how reading can help you to understand, learn something really new. It is not simply about learning something new, but it is more about learning more about things that you know. For that too, books help you a lot. I used to think that becoming a mother is quite easy, but it was only later when I read a couple of books that I understood that I need to grow more as a mother, as a parent. I'm sure books will help you hone your skills, right from aesthetics to politics. From the time I can remember, I have always been a loner, maybe a difficult friend too. But books, they have always kept me company. I've never felt alone with them. Reading heals. Ruskin Bond says, if you suffer from any kind of ailment, pick up a book and keep it beside you. You will be healed. Try it out. It cures many of your sickness. Coffee with books is one of the best menu options. They go well together. Helps in digestion too, I guess. Reading books can also help you keep a timeline on yourself. Check out the books which you had been reading for the past 5 years. You would find what kind of a person you have become in 5 years' time. Yes, a timeline for yourself. You read to the brim to spill out in writing. Yes, good reading equals good ink. Good reading brings out good books. Reading is the first step to writing. Reading strengthens your brain. It improves your vocabulary. A well-trained reader knows what to say, to whom, and at what time. It saves your life. Reading books can give you ideas fit enough to experiment in new forms. I was reading through Japanese binding techniques and I came out with this idea called pouch book so as to interest my 4-year-old daughter. Now this is what I call a pouch book. It is actually a book which is made in the form of a pouch, inside which all these newspaper clippings go through with all the pictures which might interest somebody below 5. Postscript. I am not an expert reader, but I love reading. And if you would like to try your hand on a few books, here are 10 books which inspired me a lot.